Hello and welcome to Stylish Chats with Creatives. Today on the podcast, I've got Lauren Siddons. Lauren is a bride makeup artist and a beautician from my hometown in Cambridgeshire. And we were just thinking about how we first met, and we think it's from both moving in similar circles in the local pub years ago. And the local pub used to be called the Cock Inn. So there we go. That's got that out there.
Back down to the dirty days.
Yeah. Well, we all shouldn't really have been drinking in such an old man pub, but someone's dad owned it, didn't they, I think?
Yeah, I think so. I think every single person has a good old backstory from that pub. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it really was. I think some of it I've blacked out.
I think you have to. I don't think it was an option. I think it was a given. You just had to do it.
Yeah, I think it was one of those where like everybody descended on it, and then you'd either go on to Peterborough or you'd like go on to, was it Cassano's? Is that still even a thing?
That is still a thing. It is now, I think, £12 or something like that to get in. Maybe less. Maybe it's £8. Maybe I made the £12 out. But yeah, it's a lot of money now to get in.
What? We used to pay £2.50.
Don't lick the stamp and
yeah,
on the back of your hat.
Yeah. It was £2.50 and it started off once a month, and then it was like went up to £5 and was every week.
Yeah. No, it's about £8 now, I think, to get in.
Fucking hell, cost of living's gone mental, innit? Jesus.
And Cassano's is getting their money's worth.
Yeah.
I'll be banned. If they listen to this, I'll be banned. I'll be on the blacklist.
I can't believe we used to like descend on it, because it was like a nice bar at the front, and then the back turned into sort of like a disco area, shall we say. It wasn't much more than a disco area, really. It wasn't really a club,
were you around when they had what did they have in? They had they put loads of booths in, and then they got themselves a pole.
No.
I got them a pole. That soon went. That did go. But yeah, the Cassano's pole was it was a thing.
Jesus Christ, I can't imagine the sights that pole saw.
I know. It was a moment. It's gone now, but
Thank God. I was there when they used to push the like I'd call them like venue chairs to like one side, and the tables to one side, and then it was like a dance floor in the middle. So they just used to like have people eating in there, and it hit like 7:30 and they'd be like, right, come on out, everyone's gonna be dancing in a minute.
Get all the drunk ones in. Come on. They spend their money.
Yeah.
Get the WKDs in.
Oh Jesus. I just remember
brilliant.
One of my mates like drinking WKD until she was sick, back up blue WKD.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. From Cassano's. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pathway that you have to go down if you live in March. I mean, it still draws me down sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. I can't say that I haven't frequently still visited, because you just get that vibe, don't you? You're like, because it's the only place to go when you need a really, really good dance, and you're like, do you know what? Cassano's is calling. Let's go. Is it still at the good old age of 29? I'm in this.
I was going to say, are you like surrounded by a lot younger people now when you go in there, or are the youngsters not really going?
It's a massive mixture of both. So if you do go in now, there is like normally a group of you that just walk in like the original OGs. Just step aside, everyone. And but no, it's all obviously like the 18-year-olds, isn't it? Because that's the first place they go.
Yeah. Oh Jesus. Oh,
trip down memory lane.
Yeah, God. I thought I'd shut that away.
Oh no, I'll bring it open. I'll unlock that box.
Jeez Louise. I remember getting like a minibus from the Cock Inn as well to go to the Met Lounge in Peterborough to go to a gig. Somebody was in a band and we all had to go and support them at this gig. And then I just remember like a couple of people, I won't name any names, but a couple of people needing to be sick on the way home in the minibus, and the minibus just pulling over, and the driver just being like, oh, for God's sake, like, and you just literally push these people in the ditch, just like, go and be sick.
When you're done, you can get back on.
Yeah. Oh God, those were the days.
It's just the best moments. So just, I think everything like that. And I think stemming back from our group in the pub, I just remember like Sunday afternoons, everyone was hungover. You'd all congregate back there and just spend the whole Sunday afternoon just chilling on the sofas and just like, what happened last night? Does anyone know? And then you'd like piece little bits back together. Yeah. But it was brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah. Getting all your digital camera out and being like, do you remember this bit?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And then everyone asking, can you upload them on Facebook? Yeah, I will. I've just got to find the cable.
Yeah. Give me a couple of days. It'll be up by Wednesday. Yeah.
And you always had it. You had it on a string, didn't you? Wrapped around your wrist because it was too big for your handbag.
Yeah. And then when the flash would go off, like everybody would be like super white because the makeup had been fit.
Even mine. Yeah.
Oh God. Those were the days. Brilliant. Jesus Christ. I've like tried to explain to Nath like what the culture was like in March, like when we were growing up and just kind of like going out and stuff. And it's so hard to just encapsulate it because it was just mad.
I think it's really different when you come from like a small town, because people see it sometimes as a bad thing, but it can be a good thing because when you go out, you know everybody near enough, don't you?
Yeah.
And that's like, it's nice in a way because you can like flutter off everywhere and just be like, oh, chat to them and they're over there and you're out in like the smoking area for 3 hours with other people because you've caught up with your best mate from school. But it's different when you're from like a smaller town. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely, like, me and my sister have both moved out of there now, but like I definitely needed the like break from living in a smaller town, which ironically I then moved to a city and now I've moved to another small town. But it's just like going out of where your like my entire family was from there. So like my granddad, my grandma, like my dad was well known in the town. My mum was like, I couldn't go anywhere without someone being like, oh, Charlotte's here, like texting.
You're so-and-so, absolutely. Yeah. And I've got that.
It's even like to the point me and my sister had a row in Casanos, right? And this is so fucking funny now. But we had a row and the bouncer had Dad's phone number and he just rang. He knew who we were. And he was like, your girls
come and pick your girls up.
Yeah, he literally did. And then he just waited outside for us and was trying not to wet himself laughing. My dad rocked up and was like, what are you two idiots doing? So got thrown out by a bouncer who was Dad's mate. Like, what?
Oh my God. Yeah, I remember being out at, I think I was about 15 at the time, and I'd said to my mum, like, yeah, I'm just staying around the friends. And we just snuck out. We went uptown, went to the park, you know, got yourselves a couple of bottles of White Lightning, the usual.
Yeah.
And I was walking through town at about 10:30, and I get this like phone call from my mum, and she's like, what are you doing? I was like, everyone be quiet, be cool. And she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm just at my friend's house. She was like, oh, really? Because my friend has just saw you walking past the Griffin. And I was like, you've got tabs on me. It's just, you can't do anything.
I'm not going to lie, that's made me feel a lot better about the times my mum and dad rang me and were like, "You're where?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just could, or she'd be like, "What? Yeah, what were you doing out at 1 o'clock on a Saturday?" And I was like, "I wasn't." She was like, "Yes, you were. What were you doing?" I was like, "Oh my God, there's no point lying."
No.
Got like cameras in the fucking lampposts or something.
And it's just all their mates out on the piss as well.
That's it. That's it. I'd be like, your mate was more pissed than what I was, Mum. I was helping her home.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, Jesus. It's so funny. So funny. And actually another little connection that we've got is you're married to my childhood friend, aren't you? And
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's like, it's so nice. Like we don't really speak that often, but it's just nice that, you know, we've reconnected and it's just, yeah, it's nice.
It's really sweet. I was just saying to you before we come on, I was saying to Liam how I was doing this. And obviously you're married now. So he doesn't relate to you as Charlotte Bamber. You will forever be known as Charlotte Litchfield. And
Yeah.
it was like, no, I only had one childhood friend as Charlotte, and that was Charlotte Litchfield.
Yeah, that's it. And he's not the only one who like dismisses the barber. He's like there's other people. There's other
Yeah.
people I've worked with who I'm still on their system as like Charlotte Litchfield. They're like,
I've still got friends in my phone that if you knew them before they were married, they will forever be known as that.
yeah,
And I've got friends that will never call me Lauren Siddons. I'm always Lauren Good, and it will just be stuck.
yeah, yeah. It's nice though, isn't it? Because they like
Yeah.
it still gives you that like you're still part of. Well, like when you get two people married, there's kind of two families come together, don't they? But then friendship groups sometimes come together, and sometimes are still independent of each other as well. So they're like, "Oh no, you're like," for me, they're like, "Oh, you're a Litchy," like.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
it's
it.
just yeah. But my sister actually, she didn't take her husband's last name, so she's still Annabelle Litchfield.
Is she?
Yeah, yeah. And her little
Yeah,
one's
I
like
think.
taking her name.
Yeah, my so um Liam's sister, they're not married, but they had kids, so she did take his last name.
Yeah.
But I think if my sister was to ever get married, they said they'd almost like make up their own surname combined in the two. I
Yeah.
think it's just anything goes now, doesn't it? Everyone's really modern with whatever they want to do now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. And I think like there's so much choice out there. Like you haven't got to take your other half's last name if you don't want. And, you know,
No.
no, not at all. But you must see lots of different, when you're doing bride's makeup, you must see lots of different variations.
Yeah, yeah. It's strange because you you know them as obviously you I will always know them as like their maiden name and everything, and then they might get in touch with you later on under their new name, and I'm like, I have no idea who you are. And then she's like, "Oh, you did my wedding like a month ago," and I'm like, "Oh, that's you." Sorry.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up though, isn't it? Especially if you've got you do quite a lot of brides makeup as well, right?
I do a lot. I think the hardest thing to keep up with is obviously, again, being local, I do a lot of the weddings in town. So I've been approached by, so let's say, bridesmaids in from a wedding that I've done. And they're like, "How are you?" And I'm like, "I recognise your face, but I don't know where from, what your name is." And obviously, they've spent so much time with you and me being one person, it's easier for them to remember. But I'm like, yeah, I can't remember who you are. It's been nice catching up.
Yeah.
Don't ask me who you are.
Yeah, that happens to me in studios when you're like the one person who's freelance who everyone needs to know your name, and then you're like, I can't remember if you're Gary, if you're Bob, like can't
Yeah.
remember.
No, and I am the worst person for names. I know anybody's face. I could tell you what lipstick you were wearing on your wedding day 4 years ago, but I couldn't tell you your name. Uh, just just my brain works in different ways.
Yeah, but that's not a bad thing, I don't think, because when you're a visual person as well, you often find there's faces, or like for me, when I see people that I've not seen for ages, I might have forgotten their name, but I remember that they've got a dog, I remember they've got a kid, or that their partner's doing something else, and I'm like,
100%.
I,
Yeah, yeah. I'm so obviously I've got a lot of regular clients being in the salon and everything, and I they come in every 5 weeks, and I remember they'd gone on holiday, they had family troubles, they were doing this, that, and that. And it's happened to me so many times. I can remember all of that, and then they'd go to rebook, and I'm like, I've completely blanked your name. You've been a client of mine for the last 3 years. What is your name? But I could tell them what they ate like last week or whatever. So it's so bizarre. But yeah, I'm much more of a practical person, art and just drawing everything picturesque is the way that I've always learned. If you give me a book to read or, study out of a book, I've never been able to do it.
yeah. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it, how the brain works differently for different people, and even from the
Yeah.
same families. Like my sister's very like book led and academic, and then I'm like, give me all the crazy like stick 'em like sticking
Yeah,
bits of paper everywhere,
absolutely.
and yeah,
Yeah.
it's mad.
Definitely work better from, I don't know, I think it's just how I've always worked because I have always been more artistic. I I can copy stuff really easily, practically, like pictures and all of that. If you gave me a painting to copy, I could do that. But like I said, you told me to remember, I don't know, some mathematical equation. I'm like, absolutely no chance.
Yeah, yeah, I'm the
No.
same. So, how did you get into your beautician and makeup artistry role? What route did you take to get there?
So, in all honesty, I've always been really honest about it. I never wanted to be a beautician. That was something that I just never thought that I would go down that career path. I always knew from an early age of say like 14, probably younger than that. There's photos of me when I was about 6 doing makeup on relatives and mostly my poor dad, God rest his soul. He was like plastered in makeup, and he was like, I think that's enough, Lauren. No, let's keep going. But I always thought I would go down more of the route of theatrical makeup.
Hmm.
So more like casualty, theatre, and all of that. And when I did my course, so I went straight from school, done GCSE art, I was lucky and worked in the production makeup for all the plays and everything at school. And then I went straight on to study makeup at college. And then actually, it was when I was doing the course, I just fell in love with bridal. I fell in love with editorial and photo shoots and just, I don't know, the whole beauty of it. I think I'd spent so many years like concentrating on one aspect of makeup. And then when I was opened up to all the other things, I was like, I love this. I really, really enjoy this. I love making women feel really good and confident about just applying a little bit of makeup to them and making them feel like a completely different person. And then I just fell into the whole beauty side. I thought, what would go well with this? And and beauty just went hand in hand with it. But yeah, I went on then to do level 2 beauty, aced that, loved it, and then went on to level 3, where I got halfway through the course actually and thought, I can't do this, I'm going to quit.
Mm.
Which I think a lot of people go into beauty because they think it is easy. It's one of them courses that, oh, I'll just do it. You know, it's an I don't know what I want to do, so I'll just do beauty. And we found more than half of the course dropped out. And that was on both levels. So many people drop out because they realise it's a lot harder than what you think.
Yeah.
And level 3 was absolutely ridiculous. I think we started with about 21 people on the course, and I think 9 completed it.
Oh, really?
It was, yeah, and maybe 11, maybe a few more. But you'd walk in, and it would be like a physics class. We were working with all sorts of electrical machinery, and I was like, I don't know if I'm enjoying this. And I'll always remember my mum going, no, you have come this far, you might as well just get the qualification, just carry on. If not, this whole year will have just been a total waste of time.
Yeah.
And if you think I'm putting you up and you're not doing anything, you've got nothing coming. I was like, no, Mum, you're right. Like, I'm not going to quit. I'll keep going. But and I'm so happy I did, because I loved it in the end. And I loved all the courses that I done. College, I was in my element. Really, really happy there. School, I didn't do very well in. I wasn't good at school. But college, I loved. I absolutely loved. That was, I would say, the making of me. That's where I found who I was as a person. And that is just where my whole career and passion for makeup started. And I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, it's really nice to hear a positive story about college, and that like you pushed through that little bit of like unsure kind of waters, and because you're really, really successful. And I think it's really nice to see, like, I see all your social media stuff and all your like bride makeup, and I see all your beautician stuff and all your little videos that you do where you're doing your own makeup and like your tutorials. And I think, holy shit, she's really successful and doing really well for herself. And I think like it really shows that you're really passionate about it.
Thank you. I think it's so lovely to hear, because it doesn't matter how it sounds. I've got like a major imposter syndrome. I don't think you ever get over that. But yeah, you will never see how other people see you and what you're doing, because you forever compare yourself to other people in the industry, and you're like, I'm not as good as her. But other people see you on the same level, but they're like your idol in the industry. And it is so lovely to hear. But for me, I'm like, I just doing little videos because I like it.
Yeah. But that also like shows as well, because I think there's a certain level of with social media as well, where we can all get a bit like looking for the numbers or like the likes and stuff. So if you're just doing it because you enjoy it, it's showing that is coming off, rather than being like, oh, I've got to do this because I need to keep up my engagement or whatever.
It's hard. Like I'm the worst at social media because I'm just lazy. I'll put it out there, and especially Instagram, which it is amazing, but it's, I think, one of the hardest platforms because of the engagement. It constantly wants to suck everything out of you, because you need to be on it almost 24/7 to get a reaction from anything. And I can understand then why people almost lose their passion for it, because of like how you said, if they're following the numbers, which I'll hold my hands up and I will get a bit disheartened if I'm like, I've just put so much time and effort into this video and I've got 3 likes on
Yeah,
it. You know, it's like, oh my God, what was the point? But then I think, do you know what? I enjoy doing it. One woman's just had half an hour conversation with me about how useful it was. So for me, that's worth it.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Like, it's not necessarily thinking of the big like numbers. It's thinking like, who is gonna look at that and take something away from it and be like, oh, actually, I've not tried that before. I'm going to try that on my face, or I'm going to try a different coloured lipstick, or, you know, and I think you're inspiring people just by putting it out there.
100%. Yeah. And makeup, that is, like I said before, that is the one thing that I just take great joy from being able to help people. And it is hard because I think I don't want to go all miserable on it, but I think some people, I get really passionate about makeup. And for me, makeup has always been a huge thing in my life, that, you know, if I was having a bad day, that I could just take myself away, do some makeup, you know, get into my own little zone. And I, like I said before, take great joy in helping people feel so good about themselves. And then, you know, you think, you get other people going, it's just makeup. Like, why are you so, it doesn't help that much? And I'm like, actually, you know, I done a lesson with this lady the other day and she was like, I've never felt so confident in how I apply makeup. And she left beaming. And that's like, actually, it has a lot of power.
Yeah.
For self-confidence and just making people feel good. And if I can, I just think I was put on this earth to like big up women and just make them feel really, really good about themselves. I'm such a girl's girl, and I'm one of those girls in your friendship group that is on the floor taking the photos, getting all the angles, like, yes, hold your hands up, you look amazing.
Yeah.
I'm that person.
Yeah. And I think you're right with like makeup and stuff. It does make people feel incredible. And like, even if I don't wear an awful lot, but like, I've always got mascara in my car, because if I'm feeling a bit shit, just whack some mascara on and you feel tons better. And it's just mascara.
That's it. Yeah.
You know.
And everyone's got their favourite lipstick, that if they, you know, you put on a powerhouse red lipstick, all of a sudden you've gone from, oh, I don't know if I can do this, to I'm a boss ass bitch now because I'm wearing a red lip. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have got the confidence to go into that interview room and I am going to, you know, show them what I'm made of.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And that's like, that's my classic makeup, is like a winged eyeliner and a bright red, or like, I think for our wedding, I had like a more purpley red colour, but like literally that is my
preaching
classic.
to the choir, hun, that is my go-to. Red lip, winged eyeliner. Oh, I live for it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the age that somebody goes, is that not quite right?
There's
but I
no
think
age.
No
age.
This is it. I think I'm like, I've got a classic there. So
any woman of any race, age, you know, skin type, every single person can pull off a red lip. It is just, yeah, it's the best thing.
yeah, it's so good. And even like when we go to gigs and stuff, and I'll like maybe scrape my hair back and put a red lip on or whatever, and then I'm like, I can carry these 4 beers back by myself. And you get all like confident and you're like, saunter through the crowds and just like flick your hair.
Move out my way.
Get out my way, bitches.
That's it, because it has the power to do that.
Yeah, it definitely does. Definitely does. So how do you find doing bridal makeup now? Do you find it quite intense when you're there on the day because there's loads of other stuff going on, or are you very like focused on your job?
I'm a very chilled person until I am not. And then the only person other people in the industry, I've got some incredible friends that are photographers, and they've always described me as like a swan, very graceful on top, and then my legs are like this. And that's how my brain works sometimes, when I'm just like, oh my God, how are we going to pull this off with like the timing? No one else will know,
Yeah.
because I bring the real, like, cool, really chill vibes, and in my head I'm like going around like a hamster wheel. But I don't know. Weddings are a weird thing. I think you can either do them or you can't. It's all about pressure, and you're either good under pressure or you're just not. It's as simple as that. So I've met some makeup artists and they absolutely hate weddings. They can't stand them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've just always enjoyed them. I love being a part of someone's day. I love creating that special look for someone. But it is a lot of pressure. I won't lie. You know, you are there to make this woman feel the best she ever wants to feel in her life, and by a certain time, and by whatever else is happening, it needs to happen, you know. And it can't just be like, oh well, I've not got time now because you've spent half an hour chatting away over there. That's it. Still needs to be done. It's still, you know. But no, I love weddings. I've worked in a bridal shop, and yeah, I love them. A little bit. You do. They're still very special to me, but you do become slightly immune to the whole feelings aspect to a wedding. I won't lie. Because I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. But you as a person always need to remember that this is their wedding. This is, you know, their special day. It doesn't matter if you've done one yesterday, you're doing one tomorrow. You know, this is their day.
Yeah.
And I think that's what some people find really difficult. If you're having a bad day or whatever, it doesn't matter. You've got to leave that at the front door. This is their most important day, and everything needs to be happy.
Yeah.
So, but I love it.
Yeah. It's we've got a couple of really nice bridal shops in Holmfirth, and every day I drive past, I'm like, oh my God, that dress is so nice. That dress is so nice. And then Naif's like, you know, you've already been married and you've got a wedding dress at home. I'm like, yeah.
I think it's just something about being just a woman or a little girl, or, you know, even some boys, they're just, you're drawn to bridal gowns. I think it's just the whole thing of, when I put this on that day, I am going to be the most beautiful person in this place.
Yeah.
And it just is something that just makes you just, I mean, it makes some people very, very crazy, but it does. It has the power to do very strange things.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's I'm going to tell this story because you know my mum as well. But my mum, when me and Nath got married, we were the first out of both sides of the family to get married. And we wanted Colin the Caterpillar cakes. They do like a wedding Colin.
Amazing.
Yeah, everybody said amazing, aside from my mum, who was like, no, that's not happening. And I was like,
come on, Jill, get round.
Exactly. So I just said, well, you can buy the cake then. And there was actually a really nice shop in Manchester, did like stacked cakes and stuff, really nice. So she got that in the end. And I was like, it was nice, but it wasn't a Colin the Caterpillar.
No, nothing compares. I think as well, weddings are so different now. Anything goes. If you want to call in the Caterpillar cake, go ahead. And I think I have seen so many different things, and that's what I enjoy. And with, going forward, weddings are becoming just more personal to the people. Obviously, you do get people that want all the bells and whistles, but then you just get people that are like, do you know what? I don't wear dresses, so I'm going to get married in a jumpsuit. I
Yeah.
don't like wedding cakes, so I'm going to have, I don't know, bloody cheese or something like that. Anything goes now, and I do understand why some parents and grandparents, it's hard to get their head around, because there was always quite a, you got married in your local church, and then you went back to your, your village hall, and everybody went.
Yeah.
And, a lot of parents used to pay for it, so a lot of their friends used to go, and that was it. A nice amount of money was spent, but not a massive amount of money.
Yeah.
And it's just very, very different now. But I like that. I think it's just, I think it's welcomed in a lot of different creatives, because everybody can do different things for weddings, and it is nice that it's such a big thing. It's such a big industry to get into, and I think if you are in the wedding industry, it's really cool because you can bring anything to it now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the more weddings we've been to, as the years have gone on, the less traditional they are. Like,
Yeah.
mine and Naif's was relatively traditional in the sense that we got married in a Manchester town hall. So it's quite like, I described it to my mum and dad before we booked it as a bit of a like Harry Potter kind of building. It's kind of a bit like a church, but without the kind of godly bits, but it's quite like grand and, nice
Yeah.
spiral staircases and stuff. And then, but we walked back down the aisle once we got married to AC/DC Highway to Hell.
Amazing.
So we were just like, it was traditional, but it was tongue in cheek in the sense that, like, there was a good mix. But then, like, my sister, her and her husband got married in like a small kind of like country house in London. Again, got everybody on a bus. We went and had like too many bottles of wine in a pub, and then went to a night venue. So like everybody's is different. And then
so different.
Which is really nice. Like friends of ours have got married in Italy, and that's been a really small but really lovely wedding. It's really nice how diverse it is now.
Yeah, exactly. And me being involved in that, it's nice when you see something different, because you're like, oh, I love how you've done that. Or people go, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Simply because, I don't know. I'm not doing it. I have no need to do it. And it's like, oh, well, fine. Well, good for you. It is, at the end of the day, I don't understand the big stigma of, it's about two people.
Yeah.
So having this most special day, it should be all about you and everything that you like with all the people that you like. So why is that so complicated for some people to get their head around?
Yeah, I think also there's quite a lot of the stigma, I guess, is placed in like tradition, isn't it? Like you were saying. And I heard a really good saying actually, and it said tradition is peer pressure from dead people. And I was like,
yeah,
blew my mind.
Massively.
It's true, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is true. And that is such a good way. I think, like you said, it is just peer pressure, and people are so worried, especially in weddings, about making other people happy, that they forget, actually, no, this is my day. And all I should be caring about is if me and my future husband are having the best time.
Yeah.
But I see some poor brides get so bogged down about seating plans and, what people don't want to eat. And I just, you know, some of the stories you get told, and at the end of the day, I think it is an absolute privilege to be invited to someone's wedding. They've picked you out of whoever to go and celebrate their day. Just do whatever they want. Why is that so?
Yeah.
Why is that so much like for people? Some people to get their heads around. Like, if you don't like anything that they're offering to eat before. At the end of the day, it's a free meal. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
just pick at it and enjoy it. Like, it blows my mind that some people have the cheek to be like, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not your day.
Yeah. Just shut up and eat it.
Yeah. Just shut up and enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Let loose for once in your life.
Yeah, just chill out, man. Yeah, can you tell that I've been to so many weddings now, and it's just it's about I must say it to so many brides. It is a massive therapy session when people come and see me, and I'm just like, my mantra is just remember who it's about. It's about no one else but you and your partner. If it's making you unhappy, it's causing you any stress or making you anxious in any way, then sack it off. Whether that be a person, a colour, something food-wise, just get rid of it, because in 10 years down the line, they are not going to care whether they enjoyed your dauphinoise potatoes.
Yeah.
But you will remember the stress it caused you to have to change everything about that booking for that one person.
Yeah, exactly
and
that.
Just do what you want to do. And I think it's selfish that anyone would just not let people do that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think, like, you've just, like you say, some people want to get really involved. Like, one of Naif's groomsmen was like, his girlfriend was like, oh, but don't the boys all have to match? And I was like, I've not got an endless fucking budget here, hun. Put a suit on and come for the day. Like, nobody's matching.
Yeah.
The dads didn't match. Naif didn't match with his boys. My bridesmaids didn't match. Like, there was a slight theme, but nothing like crazy. Because also, like, who wants to spend, I don't know, fucking £200 each to hire out a suit? Like, they're expensive.
Minimum.
Yeah, especially with everybody already owning a suit or a dress that would work. Like, it just it doesn't make any sense. But I do think it's definitely a stressful day. It's like herding cats, really. But I did enjoy it. I loved our day. I was so drunk, and we had like beer pong and stuff, and
amazing.
Oh,
love that.
You just have to. We just had silly, like, silly things, silly games and stuff. And like you were saying as well about things that people don't remember. My mum was like, oh, your invitations aren't that great. And I went, are you going to remember it? I said, no. I said, put it in, you've got the date, put it in your diary, get it in the recycling. I said, I'm not going to put any more effort into it.
Unfortunately, that is what happens to most things, unless, you make yourself a little wedding box, or your mum and them might keep it. But yeah, for most people, they just put them straight in the bin.
Yeah, so I'm not going to spend, like, I don't know how much I got quoted. My sister did an electronic one, and that was really good because it's on your email.
My best friends are doing that. Yeah. They're doing that. So I'm a bridesmaid for one of my best friends next year, and I literally just been chatting to her about her wedding and what she's got planned, and she's so lovely, and I'm like, what do you want me to do to help? And she's like, do you like this dress? I said, put me in whatever. I'll wear whatever.
Yeah.
If you want me to wear bloody, I don't know, the biggest, puffiest dress you've ever seen, I will wear it, because it's not about me. Obviously, I want to look nice, but if I don't like the dress and you do, I don't actually care. Like,
Yeah.
as long as you're happy, I'll do whatever you want me to do.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, I agree.
And I don't understand why more people aren't like that in a bridal party. I think the one question that I get asked the most is, do you have lots of bridezillas? My answer to that is no. It is normally more people in the bridal party that are difficult and more demanding than the actual bride. Like, don't get me wrong, I've had my fair share of uncomfortable encounters with brides, let's say, but my worst experiences as a bridal professional have been with some mums or some bridesmaids, and I've just been like, I've had the bride apologising on their account, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't believe
Yeah.
the cheek
Yeah.
of these people.
Yeah. I've got a little confession, but I actually don't speak to my bridesmaid anymore.
Really?
Yeah,
It's not uncommon. It's not uncommon.
no, because of what you were saying. I was probably too drunk on the wedding day, but like a couple of months later, lots of people were telling me about how overbearing she was and stuff. And it's like, it's not your fucking wedding, hun. So,
Yeah.
you know, and it made a lot of my other close friends very uncomfortable. And I think if I had my way again, I'd just have my mum and my sister walk down the aisle with me, and my dad, like have my mum and sister walking down in front, and then me and my dad, rather than anybody outside of that.
That's nice.
Yeah. But I think, like, from what I've spoken to other people, like, we've been married 5.5 years now, but like, when other people I've spoken to, they've fallen out with people from at their wedding.
I've had brides that have, I mean, so I will get booked a year, maybe 2 years in advance, and I've had brides sack off some bridesmaids before the day has actually arrived.
Yeah.
You know, they've fallen out, they've just, you know, because they've not invited their boyfriend that they've only been seeing of 3 months, or, you know, and or they wouldn't wear the dress that they had their heart set on. You know, I've seen it all, absolutely seen it all, but it's normally other people that have caused me the most stress.
Yeah, I think that's it. And I think it's just like being nice to people, innit? Just be nice. I don't understand, like, just be nice.
100%. I do not get it. It is just chill out.
Yeah.
And just be happy for this person.
Yeah.
Like, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Go and have a glass of champagne and just enjoy the day. It will be over in 12 hours.
Yeah.
And then it's done.
Yeah. Yeah. Talking of weddings, where did you go for your honeymoon, and how was it?
So for our honeymoon, we've been married. Liam will listen back to this and be like, that's wrong. I think we've been married for 7 years now. We went to Mexico. Liam organised all of that. I was I think the only reason I got stressed around my wedding is because I didn't allow enough time for myself. If I was to do it all again, and I imagine that's why I preach it so much now, is because if I was to do it again, which we're going to for our 10 years, we're going to
Oh, nice. Like it.
I was taking, it's hard because I was in early stages of my career. I was taking bookings right up until the wedding, and I was taking them right after the wedding as well. So I didn't have just a nice amount of time to concentrate on myself and just, you know, enjoy the lead up to my wedding.
Yeah.
We were very lucky, and I was extremely grateful to spend a week in Mexico after the wedding. But we had to come back because I had a wedding to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, in hindsight and looking back, I would have taken off a week before, um, and at least 2 weeks afterwards. Um, and I spent, I think, the day before the wedding, no, 2 days before the wedding, doing all beauty prep for my bridal party and family.
Oh,
And then was that I can always remember it because I got so upset because I then wanted to go out for a meal with Liam and was so exhausted that I was just like, I don't want to.
yeah,
And he was like, that's fine. Like, we don't have to go out. But I was like, I wanted to, though. Do you know what
yeah,
I mean? Like, I wanted to go out for a meal, and now I've spent this entire time getting everybody else prepped and sorted. And this was our last night to spend together.
yeah.
Um, so, yeah, I wish I had just, that's the only thing that I would have changed is just to, but it sounds really like selfish, but yeah, I would have just taken more time to spend on myself and just to enjoy my time.
Yeah, but I think you're right because it's so stressful in the run up anyway. Like we got married in between Christmas and New Year deliberately because everyone was off. I was quiet with work, and then I was working. I always take from like my birthday off to from like mid-December off, and so I had a couple of weeks of like chilling out and just having that time to like be like, right, okay, everything's final, got your final payment for your wedding going off and stuff like that, and organising stuff. And then we actually had a kind of house party with a bunch of friends on New Year's Eve, and so we literally were so hungover from the wedding on the 30th, and then had New Year's Eve. So we just kept drinking for like 3 days, and then had it was good, but then also I see your point of like wanting time on your own
This
after
time,
or
yeah.
before, and then it's like, oh shit, now we've now got to go and get all the bits back from the venue because the venue was shut for like a couple of days. And yeah, you're just like, it's so tiring, and I think the sheer buildup of stress up to it is tiring in itself before you even hit
Mm.
the actual wedding day.
It's not until like you're on your honeymoon that you realise actually how exhausting it all is.
Yeah.
I always remember Liam, we were laying on a sunbed and he goes, I am absolutely knackered. And he goes, like, I'm emotionally drained as well.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, I haven't even done anything, you know? And I was like, no, it is so tiring. It really, really takes your toll. He goes, I don't know how you're awake. But yeah.
You guys, I've seen as well, you guys travel an awful lot, don't you?
We try to. Do you know what? For us, it was COVID and Liam's mum passing away. It made us realise that why not? Like, if we can do it, then I think COVID was a massive wake up call for both of us at how much we love our jobs, but actually how much of our lives were dedicated to it. Like for me, before COVID, since I started at college, I hadn't had a massive period of time off. When I started weddings, I would never ever have a holiday between the months of, let's say, May to August, because that was bridal season for me. I can't have a week off in case a bride needs me.
Yeah.
And then having that option taken away from you, and you have to have time off, you have to stop. And Liam had to stop as well because he's got asthma. The fire service was just like, anybody with any underlying health issues, you stay at home. So don't get me wrong, it was hard for me being off work. I've never not worked for so long, but actually it was it was good for us to, I don't know, just reevaluate things and just be like, we want to do different things, and traveling was a major thing for us. We've been so grateful. I don't like to use the word lucky because luck plays a small part into it, but we have worked so hard for the opportunities that we've been given ourselves. You know, it's not just come about by sheer luck.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for everything that we've done, and I don't know, it's just opened up our eyes to the whole mainstream of, when you've been married for so long, you should be on this certain path. And for us, we've just come off of it and just been like, no, do you know what? We want a month in Australia, so we're going to do that. We want to go on this incredible holidays here, there, and everywhere. And we're going to do it, because what's the point in waiting, because you don't actually know what's going to happen in a couple of years. So obviously, as long as you can afford these things in a sensible manner, we're just like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Everything will be fine when we come back. It will all be still waiting for us when we come back. But we're not going to, we just don't want to put anything off now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think COVID's done that, and I think a passing of a loved one will do that as well for you. Like, just puts everything into perspective. And if you've got the opportunity to travel, you absolutely should, like you say. And I think we're similar in the sense that we kept getting the whole you're engaged, when you're going to hear the pitter patter of tiny feet, and my eyes could roll so far back in my head that I could see my
Literally
arse.
did it.
Yeah. And I think, like, not every life script is the same, and that's something that people are realizing now, alongside with, you know, not following many traditions. And we've got, so as women, I'm blabbering here, but as women, we've got so many choices, and it's fine to choose whichever choice you want to.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to have it all.
No. And it's the simple thing of, this year I'm 30. So being a 30-year-old woman, you have to be seen to have a checklist. And it's not by almost, I mean, it's a little bit on you, because you are forced to think that by the time you're 30, you need to have your own house, you need to be either engaged, married, living with someone, you should have children by now, you should have a career. And, you know, I'm grateful that I have got some of those things off my checklist. But if they're not all crossed off, then people are going, but you're nearly 30. And I'm like, but we want to go to Singapore instead, because that's what we want to do. If you want to, you know, do other things, like, let's say, for instance, have children, I wouldn't put my opinions, oh, well, you've only done 3 holidays.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, why is it the other way round, that if it's, I don't know, off topic, but it's become very apparent that because we've been married for 7 years and we haven't got children, and we've chosen to go down this route a little bit longer, people have got a lot of opinions about it.
Yeah, you're telling me. Literally.
And I think it's hard as well when you're a woman and you've got a career and you enjoy it so much, and you've put all this time, love, and energy, that I know things are going to change dramatically with that if I have a child and when I have a child, and I'm not ready to give that up a little bit yet. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not saying, yeah, you have to give it all up, but you have to give it up by a small amount. And I'm not prepared to do that yet.
Yeah. And I think it's like respecting people's boundaries as well. Like my mum got accosted
Oh,
in town and by somebody well-meaning, and they just said,
mhm.
oh, you know, Charlotte and Nath are married, are they having kids? And my mum actually texted me and said, I've said no, but how can I answer this better for
That's
you?
very sweet of her.
Yeah. And I said to her, I was like, well, you came to all my doctor's appointments, you tell them whatever you want. And she did in
Mm.
the end. And people were like, oh shit, like what? They
Because they don't think that there's another situation
yeah,
that it's they're just not they just haven't wanted to have children yet.
yeah,
But that might not be the case,
yeah,
and it's such a private, sensitive subject for every single woman and partner of that person,
yeah,
that how it's almost like, how dare you ask
yeah, yeah,
such a personal question? Like,
yeah,
it's got nothing. I know people, a lot of people, they see it as such a harmless thing, but actually it there is a lot of background to that one question that
yeah.
you don't know what you're asking.
Yeah,
Um,
it's such a loaded question, isn't it? It's such a loaded
Huge.
question. Yeah, Nath always answers. I'm not going to repeat what he answers, but he always answers something really crass, and then people go like, "Oh, what?" And he's like, "Well, you're
Yeah.
asking about a sex life, so there's your answer."
Yeah, that is it, isn't it? You
Yeah,
are you
yeah,
are asking about that. But yeah, that I mean, for us, you know, people just see it as holidays, and you know, we get it a lot. Oh, you're going on another holiday. um, but I don't know, for us, it's actually become a really, really big part of our lives, you know.
yeah,
And it's not just, for us, it's not just another holiday. It's, they've been life-changing experiences for us, and they've been so amazing and so positive, um, and so good for us individually, but as a couple as well, that we're just like, where else can we go? And it's just so amazing to experience different things. Um, and we've been so lucky
yeah.
that we've met some amazing people, and yeah, we were just always planning the next one.
Yeah. It's a nice thing to plan. Like we were sat actually tonight before I came on with here, looking at, there's a YouTube channel called Attache, and he does like little breakdowns of say like city breaks and stuff. And we were just looking at one then and we were like, oh yeah, actually that'd be good. And then it's like, because mum and dad are in the south of France, we can fly and see mum and dad and then add something on
Yeah.
and do it like that. So yeah, we love traveling. We stopped a bit because of the pandemic, and same as you, like Nath was still working, but all my work stopped, and then all the travel stopped, and we were used to like traveling quite a lot, and
It's
same as you
hard.
guys. Yeah, it was really hard.
Yeah.
And now we've got to get back into the rhythm of it, you know, but you can't spend your money twice, can you? If you're doing your house up, you
No.
can't spend it twice. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, it's just different priorities for different people. And for us, travel is a big one for
Yeah.
us. It's really important to us. And I I've not I can't say I have had enough, but it makes it sound really bad that people make you feel bad. But I'm not going to be made to feel bad
Yeah.
about these incredible holidays that I'm having, because that's what we want to do. So that is what we will do.
Yeah, exactly. And also, why not do it now when you're both able and, you know, you've not got to think about kids, a dog, everything else, you know,
Absolutely.
and your bodies are still able to do it. Because often as well, you see people in their 60s retiring and then going to travel and they're like, oh, God, we're knackered. Because they're tired from working and stuff so much.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think things do change. It'll be absolutely amazing if we do have this opportunity when we both retire to be able to pick off where we left off with traveling. But we've both learnt from the experiences of me losing my dad and Liam losing his mum that you're not always that lucky. And, you know, getting old is a privilege. It's not a given.
Yeah.
And I think you just, I don't know, it's so easy to say, we'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've seen it firsthand that tomorrow isn't always there. So we are just very much, no, we'll do it now. We'll do it now. Yeah, we'll do that instead. You know, that can wait. This can't.
Yeah. I agree. So where's been your favourite place so far to have travelled to?
So I would say I've got 3 places that were my absolute favourite for 3 different reasons. So New York was one of them because I just loved New York. There's something about, I'll be a beach ocean girl till the day I die, but there is something about a city and just everything being active at all hours of the day and night that I love. So New York was just incredible, loved it. Australia, simply because we weren't out in the grand scheme of things, we weren't out there for as long as obviously what some people are, but it become a little bit more of like a lifestyle because we were out there for over a month.
Yeah.
And we were living in an RV. It was just so chilled, and we were just getting up, having breakfast. Do you know what I mean? Just moving on if we liked a place, if we didn't like a place. And yeah, it just really, really felt like home. We both really connected with Australia in a way that we didn't think we would. So that was I would say the best holiday for us as a couple, and just to open up your eyes on different things. And then my favourite place would the Maldives, for the sheer fact that it is just absolute paradise, and it's the best diving, because me and Liam both dive. It's the best diving I've ever experienced in my entire life. It was out of this world. And I would say that we spent probably a good 70% of that holiday underwater. If I could have grown gills and just stayed underwater for the entire holiday, I would have, because it was insane. It was insane. It was amazing. We'd definitely go back.
Yeah. What creatures did you see? Obviously, like fish, but
Do you know what? We swam with sharks. There was like octopuses, stingrays, eagle rays. There was a few dolphins. But in all honesty, just the sheer abundance of fish and coral and just everything. I was just like, my little brain was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, look at that, look at this. I can remember Liam going, were you like trying to say stuff underwater? Because I just kept hearing like these muffled, like, and I was like, yeah, I was like clapping, going, ah. He was like, I could hear you. That was coming through. But it was insane. It's there's just something about being underwater that just I'm at my most happiest. It's incredible. I love it.
Yeah, it sounds insane. It sounds so
It's
cool.
really, I think if I understand why people don't, why some people may not like it, but if you ever do get the opportunity to scuba dive, just give it a go. Just like, because it's just a whole nother world under there, and it's so relaxing, and just you're just floating around with all these fish. It's amazing.
I feel like I've had a similar kind of experience when I did a skydive, and you feel like it's weird because you're kind of shut off from the world because you can't hear anything except for the
That's it.
wind.
Yeah, you're not on your phone.
Yeah,
You have to visually take in everything that's around you. And I think you don't get a lot of opportunities to appreciate what is right in front of you
yeah,
in this day and age because we're so blindsided and distracted so easily. So to just be in that moment for 40 minutes, concentrating on just just like the sheer beauty of it sounds really corny, but of nature
yeah, yeah.
is just an absolute blessing, and I will never. It annoys me because Liam is my buddy, and he sucks air like it's going out of fashion, and we always have to end the dive so early, and I come up with like 90 bar left on in my oxygen tank, and he's like on 50 bar, and I'm like, I could have stayed down there for another 15 minutes. You're sucking the life out of me.
Literally throw his inhaler at him, like, take this before you go down.
Can we just carry another oxygen tank for him, please, so we can swap over?
Yeah, surely he's strong enough to carry two. It's fine.
That's it. Yeah, just drag it behind you, babe. Come on.
Oh, bless him. I've got another quite big question, I guess. But what's your inspiration with regards to your work and with regards to where you travel and just general like life? What's your inspiration?
I wouldn't say that I have an inspiration. It's just whether if I like it, I like it.
Yeah.
If it takes my fancy, then that's more to do with the traveling side. The whole career side is inspiration. It's hard because it's just whether if it interests me, and if my makeup artists and my role models are people that I can connect with. Obviously, I like what they do, but more in the fact that if I just can connect with them as a person, so they feel like it sounds really weird, but obviously you put your role models on a pedestal.
Yeah.
If you can connect with them and they feel more like a friend through watching them, because social media is so easy now. Some of the makeup artists and stuff that I follow, you know, you almost feel like you're involved in their success and journey, and that's my inspiration to become someone like that to other people. If I can, you know, it's obviously, you know, I think for me, I want to be someone that just makes a difference to someone with a small thing like makeup, you know, and just can bring comfort and confidence to people with it. And if it helps, it helps. If it doesn't, it's just fun to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's a really lovely answer, actually, because I think that is what you're doing. Like I said to you earlier, I think you are like
That's good.
inspiring people. And I think you're right with the idol thing. You do tend to put people on a pedestal and you kind of don't really see all the other hard work unless they're putting everything on social
Yeah.
media, which we don't all put everything, do we? And yeah, it's nice that your inspiration is to be similar to those and to kind of be I'm rambling a bit, but I'll get there in a minute.
You take your time, babe.
But like to be inspiring to other people, that's nice as well, that you're like, right, okay, if I can help one person out or one person feel more confident in their makeup, or maybe just, I say just, but like going and getting their eyebrows done and they feel incredible after, or, you know, I think my mum used to come to you for facials and stuff, and I think I actually booked her in for a makeup thing as well. Because bless her, those swimming teacher, she was always like, oh, what if I've got to get in the water, and just never put any makeup on. And and it's just, you know, it's nice to see it even on like my level with my mum. She came back and was like, oh my God, I feel amazing. And like, I've learned this and I've learned this, and Lauren showed me this color palette and I can do this and this and this. And she's still using like techniques that you showed her. And I think that's a really nice, it's a really lovely thing that you're doing. And I think you're inspiring more people than what you realise.
Thank you. That's really, really sweet. Oh, I'm blushing.
Yes.
Oh, no, I love it. No, honestly, I think you're very, very lucky if you can create a career with something that you love, because you never feel like, I mean, don't get me wrong, we all have those days where you're like, I don't want to go to work today, or oh, I've got so much to do. But I'm so lucky in the fact that I don't feel like I'm working half the time.
Yeah.
And that is such a privilege, because, you know, I feel so sorry for people to be in such a horrible job that makes them feel like shit every day, because you spend a lot of time working. So I know what an absolute privilege it is to be in something that you love, and I will never ever take that for granted. And yeah, it's just nice to know that in some small way in this wretched world, you are making a difference to someone, some small little inkling of happiness. But yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. And I think on that lovely note, I think we'll end there. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I've really enjoyed.
Oh, Charlotte, it's been amazing. I could talk to you for hours.
Well, the offer's there if you want to ever come back on.
Oh, thank you. It'll be like, oh my God, she's on again. We want to listen to someone else.
I think that's what people think about me actually launching a bloody podcast. They're all like, Jesus, she's talking again.
Oh no, I love it. I love it. I love stuff like this. I think it's absolutely great. It's just nice to really have a good chat with people, because I think some people struggle, and it's nice just to listen and yeah, get to know someone really well.
Yeah, that's it. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
It's been a pleasure, babe. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please rate, follow and share, as it really helps this little podcast out. And if you have found value in the podcast and you have the means to, I do have a Buy Me a Coffee link in the show notes. This will help keep the podcast going. Join me next week for another fantastic guest. Bye!